So I just got done watching EA's 2013 Gamescom conference, alright? And before I start, I want to mention something about Microsoft's press conference. No wonder they didn't debut a time, or they didn't, tell everyone, hey, you can watch the conference at this time. Because it happened before EA's conference. I think it happened like an hour or two before. So really, it was like 3 a.m. when they were holding their press conference in terms of, Pacific U.S. time. So no wonder they didn't tell us, hey, make sure to watch the streaming of, the conference. It was so early that the majority of people were asleep. So on a quick note, what I do want to say is that they revealed their launch lineup. They did not give us a release date, which is kind of, I hope they don't pull a Nintendo, which is, hey guys, it's coming out in a month. I hope they don't do that. So whatever. We'll talk about EA now, right? They had a couple of interesting things to show. Ultimately, if you missed the conference, it wasn't like amazing, like you have to see this. There are a couple of things that they mentioned, which I'm going to go over currently right now. So the first thing they showed off was Sims 4, which a lot of people, are huge Sims fans. Myself being one of them. I'm interested in the game, but they showed off the different ways you can interact with the Sims. There's going to be this new system called Smart Sim, where you'll be able to create a generation and control how they do it and also interact with the environment. That's another cool thing they showed, was like the gameplay changes. It's dynamic based, like you can like do something with your character, like go do an activity if he feels a certain way, you can come back, and your relationships with other characters actually do have effects later on in the game, which is going to be interesting to see. So if you piss someone off, they're going to like, and if you see them like later on, something actually might happen between you two. There's new emotions, and there's new creative tools. What they did is they completely simplified and redid the whole house building tool, which is a main thing. One of the reasons why I love the Sims series is the fact that you can just build these gorgeous, gigantic homes. I think The Sims, more so than a great simulation game, is also a great building tool for like architects and stuff. You can really do a lot with that whole creative tool set that they have for creating houses and whatnot. So they showed that. Then some guys came on, some annoying guys, and they talked about Command and Conquer. They actually showed some gameplay. They had two people facing off against each other. It's going to be free to play, alright? Which I've never played any of the Command & Conquer games. I don't know if the other ones are free to play, but this one's going to be free to play. It's going to launch this year. It did not give us a release window or a date, but it is going to launch this year. And they are, for the first time, they're going to be debuting episodic story content. So similar to like The Walking Dead, for instance, you're going to be able to download certain portions of or episodes from the story DLC for the soldiers or whatever the faction is, and you'll be able to play that story campaign. So that is a cool thing. They left. Then the guys from BioWare came on, and they were talking about Dragon Age Inquisition. From what I could tell, they actually showed in-game, I want to say in-engine footage. Not in-game footage, but in-engine footage. It looked a little pre-rendered. It might have been pre-rendered, but I'm just gonna go out there and say it's in-engine footage. They showed that you're gonna have this new thing called agents, where you'll be able to send out literally NPCs to do little side quests, similar to how in Assassin's Creed you have that Brotherhood concept where you can send them out and they can do objectives and they can come back to you and give you certain experience and loot. So that's going to be cool to see that implemented. I guess that's a first. And they actually gave us a release window for Dragon Age Inquisition. It's coming out in fall 2014 for next-gen platforms. Whether it's going to be current-gen, I am still unaware. But fall 2014 for you Dragon Age fans, it's coming out. Then they talked about Plants vs. Zombies 2. They're talking about how much of a big success, I guess it was, launched last week. And they said in a period of 5 days, they had 6 million plus downloads. That's a big thing, alright, in 5 days. So it's a huge success. It's the fastest selling mobile game in EA history. So that is pretty interesting in itself. It's coming to next gen consoles. All right, they said, oh, it's coming to next gen, but then they show a gameplay trailer. And then they finally, at the end of the gameplay trailer, they show the box art for the game, and they have the Xbox 360 version, the PC version, and the Xbox One version. So EA and Microsoft, they're like buddies. All right, they're literally like buddies. Yes, like that kind of buddies. They're totally, in bed with each other. That's kind of funny because you see a lot of these developers, for example, the DICE devs have always given PS3 exclusive content for the Battlefield series, and all of a sudden, hey, it's gonna be Xbox One now. It's interesting to see, why they're so buddy buddy. But I guess Microsoft gave them a pretty nice check. They got all that stuff. But it's coming to Xbox One. No word on whether that's going to be a timed exclusive, but what they showed just showed PC, Xbox 360, and Xbox One retail. All right. They also said that on the Xbox One, it's going to have exclusive features such as Kinect integration as well as Smart Glass. So if you're interested in that, it's available on Xbox One. Next up, they had the guys from UFC come up on stage, and they debuted their actual game. They actually showed a gameplay trailer, all right, which is like, because the main thing was EA, even at E3, was all like, we got this new Ignite engine, and it's gonna revolutionize sports games all around the world. And then they showed us, in-engine footage, but we never got to see gameplay. It was like all pre-rendered and shit. It was ridiculous. So they finally showed debut gameplay for the Ignite engine, and it looks great. It looks actually fantastic. They're showing the UFC, I don't know, UFC 14 or whatever it's called, game, and he's got the guy in a headlock and he's trying to struggle, and you can literally see veins and stuff popping out of his neck. It's fantastic. The level of detail that they put into the characters is just really well done. So that's a cool thing. Then Need for Speed Rivals came up on stage. This is kind of weird how they did this format. I don't know why they did this format, but Need for Speed Rivals, the guys came up on stage and they were talking about the game. They said it's going to be an open world game. It's going to have dynamic multiplayer integration, meaning similar to The Crew, you're going to have this open world multiplayer and single player, kind of joined together. People are going to be joining your game. You may not know that, hey, I'm playing with other people, but it's in there. It's sort of like how Test Drive Unlimited worked in that sense. But it's going to have dynamic multiplayer. There's millions of customization options, the guy said, and I quote, millions of customization options. They're showing that the customization is on the level of what you can expect from the Forza series. So it's kind of cool. Then they have a new game, how would you say this? A new addition to the cops, all right? That specific faction. A typical Need for Speed games, it's always cops and racers. It's a hot pursuit. But they're actually debuting a brand new concept, and I think it's really interesting. It's called Undercover Cop, where yes, a cop blends in as a normal racer, and he's trying to take down all of the illegal racers. And I'm thinking of this concept. I'm like, this is interesting, because imagine you're in a race and you're being chased by cops, but imagine that you don't know if a guy to your left and to your right, a guy behind you, who just looks like a normal racer, could be, an actual cop trying to take you down. It's a really interesting way, and I cannot wait to see how this is integrated when I finally get my hands on the game come this November. But I'm really interested in playing, in trying to find out more information about the Undercover Cop idea, because it's a really awesome idea, and I can't wait to see how it's implemented. It can add that level of tension that the Need for Speed series could definitely use. So I cannot wait until that. Then they came out with Titanfall, and everyone's going crazy. Now, the funny thing is, at E3, when they debuted Titanfall at the Microsoft press conference, I'm looking at this thing, I'm like, it looks great, it looks fun. I'm not, oh my gosh, this is the best freaking game ever, game of show, like everyone else was for some reason. But I'm like, alright, this game looks fun. And then they show gameplay, the new gameplay at the EA Gamescom conference, and I'm like, this game looks sick. And it's, I didn't think I was going to be excited for it, but now I'm really excited for it. Now I see, okay, now I see the potential. Now I see what they're trying to do here. It's not just Call of Duty with mechs, as I thought, it would have played, similar to, at the E3 press conference, excuse me. It's not just Call of Duty with mechs. It's got parkour, raw tongue twister. Wall running, alright? You can wall run across different buildings. We saw this at the E3 gameplay, but they're showing it to like a certain extent. He's like jumping up and wall running, then he's jumping over large, different buildings, and he's using his like hover ability to get him through a window. The video starts off and it's like this. Basically, you're in this dynamic, almost, it looks like a single-player game from the start of it, but you see all these players hanging out everywhere, and they're all standing guard. One of the NPCs goes into the sewer. I want to say it actually might have been a player. I think it was an NPC, to be honest. One of the NPCs goes in the sewers because he has to do something or whatever, and all of a sudden, he's, it's like your general, and he's giving you orders. He's like, alright, take down these guys, take down this guy, and, make sure you complete this objective. And all of a sudden, it's like, yes sir, and then everyone moves out. They all move out, just like that. They all just move out, and then before you know it, they're all shooting, enemy players. It's, I wasn't really, that excited for it. I wasn't, I wanted to play the game. I was excited to play the game, whatever, but I wasn't like, oh my god, this is the best game of show. I can now see why it won game of show from that Gamescom, gameplay reveal. It just, the amount of promise and potential that Titanfall has, it really can be something special, and I cannot wait to get the game. We don't know when it's coming out. They didn't announce a release date, didn't even give us a release window. I think GameStop, or I think I've heard somewhere that it was supposed to be spring 2014. The sooner we can get our hands on the game, the better, because I cannot wait to play that. That game, it has something special to it, and I really was impressed by the Gamescom EA press conference demo. So, good job there. And then they went back to sports. It's like the weirdest format. It's like, why don't you just do this? Simulation, RPG, simulation, RPG, mobile, sports, and then do your blockbuster games. Instead, they did, like, sports, blockbuster game, sports. It was a weird format. But they talked about FIFA 14. The guy comes out on stage, he's like, hey, that Titanfall looks good, doesn't it? And he talks about FIFA 14. They debuted actual gameplay, like a gameplay trailer. Again, it looks fantastic. They're showing the shirts and stuff as players walk, where, cringing or whatever, all this stuff. And then they were showing the whole audience. The whole audience actually has, like, dynamic facial features, and the amount of NPCs they generate in that whole stadium is just fantastic. And the game looks really good. It really does look interesting. So if you're a huge sports fan, I can see why the new Ignite engine is really something exciting, because it does bring that level of realism and tension to the sports games franchise. So that's awesome. Then the last thing they showed was Battlefield 4. All right, which we saw from E3. It looks great, Battlefield 4, but I'm even more excited for it now. The first thing they did was they told us when the beta was happening, alright? The beta is happening in early October. Now, that's your first mistake. Your first mistake is, first of all, it's not really a beta, because you can't have a beta 2 to 3 weeks before the game comes out. It's not a beta. It's just like Battlefield 3 was. Oh, we're just testing out. We just want to give you guys a chance to get into the game early and play it. And Battlefield 3's beta was horrendous. Alright? In fact, I blame Battlefield 3 beta for the loss of many sales that it could have had. If they just said, you know what, we're not going to be releasing a beta, we'll release a multiplayer demo or whatever, that would have been much better, but no. But they told us that the Battlefield 4 beta is coming early October. Again, mistake. Why? That first week of October is already taken by Grand Theft Auto Online. Why would people want to play Battlefield 4, which looks exciting, but you're betting people to play a military FPS over an innovative, brand new, exciting, open world, dynamic game. That second week of October is already taken by Beyond Two Souls, which everyone is so excited for, at least from what I can tell. If you're a PlayStation 3 owner and you're not getting Beyond Two Souls, you're an asshole. I'm just saying, you're an asshole. If you don't at least want the game. Beyond is the whole Quantic Dream series of games. It just puts you in this level of emotion and a cinematography that's just unmatched in gaming even today. So I mean, that you had those first 2 weeks taken. I mean, it's just a bad time. You should have launched. Really, if you want to have the Battlefield 4 beta, say, hey guys, it's launching early September. That's perfect. Have it launched a month earlier, and then you can actually call it a beta. And then you can change some stuff and have time to change some stuff, other than just saying, it's a beta, kind of. It's not really a... You don't have a beta 2 to 3 weeks before your game comes out. It's not a beta, all right? A beta is during a testing phase of a game. It's still in development. A game like Battlefield 4 usually is finished and goes gold, I would say, in the middle to the end of September, all right? It's already done, and this whole multiplayer beta thing is just a complete waste of time. And that was it, guys. That was pretty much all they showed. So their conference lasted about an hour and 15 minutes. Overall, I thought it was a decent conference. I liked... There were a couple games like I was really excited for. For example, I really enjoyed seeing Titanfall. Learning about Need for Speed Rivals, that Undercover Cop does sound cool. And then Battlefield 4, getting to know the beta details. Oh, actually, I didn't go into detail about Battlefield 4 enough. Well, there's much more things I gotta mention because I'm super excited for Battlefield 4 now. So again, everyone knows what Levolution is. It's when huge set pieces are in the multiplayer. For example, we saw Levolution take place when the whole skyscraper in that debut multiplayer gameplay fell down. But they debuted a brand new multiplayer trailer. And let me tell you, what's happening in terms of Levolution is like unparalleled. It's something it's something that can only be done with next gen. And I'm frankly surprised if they're going to have this, that it's going to be a current... What the hell is going on? Oh, my hard drive just... That's weird. I'm actually surprised if they're going to have these set pieces. How is that going to fit on the current generation of consoles? There's power of the cloud. Something like that. But they're showing us like different... He was talking about, different ways that Levolution takes place. This gameplay multiplayer, other trailer that showed, you're fighting in this city, right? All of a sudden, the city gets flooded with water. Just a huge tsunami comes in and floods the entire city. People are on boats and they're shooting and they're driving the boats through the cities and stuff like that. And you're fighting in this building on this island, and all of a sudden, this huge aircraft carrier ship comes crashing into the island while you're sitting there having a firefight. It's incredible. And then there's this really cool part where this guy goes in this what do you call it, a freight train, it's like a cargo... I forgot the name for that. It's like a cargo hold. It's like this big storage bin that, they stack stuff on top. You see those on ships and stuff. You guys know what I'm talking about. This guy goes in it, right? This guy throws a grenade. Then he closes and locks the freight door, locks the guy in with the grenade, and it blows up. And stuff like that is just awesome. And it's just... I cannot wait to see, because it's different to see. It's different when it's talked about and it's shown in like a trailer and then it's actually played. I want to see how it actually plays in a full, real gameplay situation. I want to play... What I'm trying to say is I want to play the game and I want to actually be able to do that and have it effectively work. But I can't wait for these. The set pieces, man. The set pieces are fantastic. Battlefield 4 multiplayer has me really interested in playing it, and I cannot wait to get my hands on the game for the next generation platform. Then they talked about Battlefield 4 Premium. It'll give you 2 weeks early access to all the multiplayer content. They actually debuted all the multiplayer maps. There's going to be 5 multiplayer maps. They debuted the names for that as well. Probably is going to be the same format as with Battlefield 3 has now. But pretty much that's that. That's it for Battlefield 4. So they had a good conference. It was a decent conference. I wouldn't say it was really good. There's a couple things like I don't care about Command and Conquer. I don't care about Dragon Age. I don't care about Plants vs. Zombies. I don't care about any of the sports games. But they did. It was a pretty decent conference for what it was, Gamescom. So that's it, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I'm sorry I couldn't cover the Microsoft press conference. It took place 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning, and I'm asleep. I'm sorry. They didn't even tell us, hey, be sure to stay up and watch our press conference. And I'm looking at the news here on the Microsoft press conference, and they didn't give us a release date for the console, which has me worried. If Sony can give us a release date, which I think they said we're going to reveal the release plans, which more or less means revealing the release date. So, but Microsoft, I mean, give us that release date. Don't wait till a month like Nintendo did and say, hey, the Wii U is coming out in a month. Don't do that, all right? Give some people some time to prepare. Give some people some knowledge of when the console is going to be coming out. Get some people some knowledge of when to start hanging out and camping out at the store. So, I'll see you guys later. You have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next video, which is the Sony Gamescom press conference, which has a potential to be something exciting. So I'll see you guys later. Have a great day. Thank you guys for watching.